Billionaire found his maid eating on the floor. He froze when he learned why. It was a clear golden morning in downtown Seattle when Lucas Moreau, a self-made billionaire known for his unbending routines and razor-sharp discipline, ended a long conference call and walked into his mansion's kitchen. Sunlight poured through the tall glass windows, spilling across the pristine marble counters. The faint hum of the espresso machine filled the air. Everything around him reflected the life he had built, controlled, elegant, flawless, except for one soft sound. A faint clink, scrape. Clink came from somewhere behind the island counter. Curious, Lucas stepped forward, expecting perhaps the cook preparing breakfast or one of the cleaning staff washing dishes early. But when he turned the corner, the sight froze him in place. Crouched on the floor, half hidden behind the dining table, was Mira Alvarez, one of his younger maids. Her uniform was neat but slightly worn, her dark hair tied back loosely, her hands trembling around a small plate. She was eating quietly, bits of cold rice and chicken from the staff leftovers. She wasn't sitting at the table. She wasn't even using proper cutlery. She ate in small, careful bites, glancing toward the door as if terrified of being caught. For a moment, Lucas just stood there, the billionaire who could buy anything, watching a woman hide to eat what others had thrown away. If you believe kindness can still change the world, take a second to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner, because stories like this remind us that one moment of compassion can rewrite a person's entire life. Lucas Moreau wasn't cruel, but he had long since drifted from empathy. His empire had consumed him, endless meetings, figures, deadlines. He had forgotten the hunger of his early days, the sting of fear, the simple warmth of human concern. And yet, watching Mira huddle in that corner, shame him behind every motion, something in him stirred, an ache he hadn't felt in years. He quietly stepped back before she could see him and walked away, but her image stayed burned in his mind. That night he couldn't sleep. The silence of his mansion, usually comforting, felt heavier. He found himself wondering, who was this woman? Why did she have to hide just to eat? The next morning, Lucas called up the employee records. Mira Alvarez, 24 years old, employed for 9 months. Never late, never absent, never once complained. Her salary, though average by industry standards, suddenly looked small to him. He asked the head housekeeper casually if Mira was doing fine. The answer pierced him. "She sends most of her pay home to her family, sir," the woman said softly. "Her mother is bedridden, and her younger sister is still in school. She keeps barely anything for herself." That afternoon, Lucas sat in his office, staring out the window at the skyline he once worshipped. Every tower, every investment, symbols of his power. Yet now, all he could think about was the sight of Maid hiding on the floor to eat scraps. He remembered being 19, eating instant noodles in a tiny apartment, chasing a dream no one believed in. He'd sworn he'd never go hungry again. Somewhere along the way, that vow had become selfish, about protecting himself, not others. The next week, Lucas made a quiet decision. He gathered his household staff in the main dining hall, a place none of them had ever stepped into for a meal. As they stood nervously, he cleared his throat and said simply, "From today forward, everyone eats here. Together. No separation. No leftovers. No one hides to eat in my house." The room fell silent. Some stared in disbelief. Others teared up, but none were more stunned than Mira, who couldn't lift her eyes from the polished floor. When she tried to thank him later, her voice shaking, Lucas only said gently, "No one should feel ashamed to be hungry." The days that followed felt different. The mansion, once echoing with cold professionalism, now hummed with quiet laughter. Lucas found himself joining the staff at meals, listening to their stories. For the first time, the walls of his house felt alive. But he wasn't finished. A few weeks later, Lucas called Mira into his study. She walked in nervously, hands clasped, expecting perhaps a reprimand. Instead, he handed her an envelope and a folder. Inside, documents for a full medical plan for her mother and a scholarship fund for her sister's education. Mira looked up, speechless, tears filling her eyes. "You spent your life giving to others," Lucas said quietly. Let someone give back for once. That day changed everything. Mira's mother began recovering with proper care. Her sister started attending university. And Mira herself began to glow, her smile brighter, her steps lighter. As for Lucas, something inside him healed too. He began funding food programs anonymously, setting up scholarship foundations under quiet aliases. The man once known for ruthless efficiency found purpose in compassion. He told a friend one evening, "I used to think wealth was what you could hold. Now I know it's what you can give away and still feel whole." Months later, the mansion no longer felt like a symbol of isolation. It had become a home, filled with warm shared meals and stories of gratitude. One bright morning, Lucas sat at the long dining table with his staff. Sunlight streamed through the glass windows, bathing everyone in gold. Mira served the final dish, then hesitated, until Lucas gestured to the empty seat beside him. She smiled and sat down, no longer in the shadows, no longer afraid. As they ate together, Lucas realized that the young maid who once had to eat had taught him something profound. Compassion is the only wealth that multiplies when shared. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to American Stories of Kindness, because every act of empathy, no matter how small, can change someone's entire world. Before you go, tell us in the comments, what does kindness mean to you?